If you've been paying attention in 2022, you'll notice that Xbox has had a historic and unprecedented year with no major first-party releases. Brought on delays for every studio, but no one has seemed to be affected as much as Xbox. With 3 to 4 major AAA games delayed into 2023, Xbox fans had all but given up on 2022. But Xbox has announced new games and an event for a few surprises that will make 2022 a year to remember. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I just got back from PAX, and it's time to talk about all of the things I saw, the things that are coming to Xbox, and an inside check into what is coming in the near future, and in fact, even in 2022. If you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new content, and let's look at what Xbox has in store for the rest of the year. Now, with Xbox Game Studio showcases out of the way and the team concentrating on the next 12 months, the Xbox platform is heavily relying on third-party and global publishing support. Even the famed Game Pass has been light on content for the first half of the year, only to start promising great releases to round out the last half of 2022. Insiders and hints from game studios, leaks from job announcements, and postings have given us an insight into some surprise, exclusive, and platform-directed games that are coming to Game Pass and exclusively to Xbox consoles for the Xbox Series S and X. Matt Booty was hosted at PAX West in 2022 to discuss his career and involvement in Xbox Game Studios, and had to answer a very few difficult set of questions about major game delays and the current status of Xbox's biggest games, including Starfield, Forza Motorsport, and Fable. Here's what Matt had to say about why Xbox Game Studios have delayed their games.
Some of the processes that we have not really kept up with how quickly we can make content. So one of those is testing, right? Like, you think about a game, one of the biggest differences between a game and something like a movie is if we're working on a movie and you come in and say, hey, this ending, let's tighten this up, let's edit this, let's cut that scene, it usually doesn't break anything at the beginning of the movie, right? But in a game, you can be ready to ship, and a designer's like, I got this one little feature, I'm just gonna change the color on this one thing, and then it somehow blows up something, and now, you know, the first 10 minutes of the game doesn't play, right? Mm-hmm. And so that testing aspect, every single time anything new goes into a big game, the whole game has got to be tested front to back, side to side. You know, people will say, you know, they were in, you know, the game shipped on Tuesday, but I hear they were fixing bugs on Saturday night. And it's like, no, like, there's months of testing and things that have to happen before a game goes out. So that's one. Another one is just, as games have become more complicated, there's just more interaction. There's more systems that interact. Mm-hmm. So as games just get more and more complex, it just becomes harder to bring all those pieces together without unintended interactions or things breaking. The last thing I'll say is just how we make games is evolving, right? The idea of a single team under one roof really doesn't happen that often anymore. So I'll use an example, our Perfect Dark team down in Santa Monica, the Initiative Studio, working on Perfect Dark. Mm-hmm. So we just did this big partnership with Crystal Dynamics, right? And I read online like, oh, this must mean there's a problem or something. It's quite the opposite, right? You've got this veteran team at Crystal Dynamics, a big AAA team with over 100 people that becomes available. Of course we want to work with them, particularly if they've made a game like that before. All those studios are so key to the products that we make, and that, though, also adds some complexity, where if one of those studios has problems, it then impacts the schedule. So, you know, the days are gone when you can sort of get, you know, everybody round up the team in the cafeteria, right? I want to tell everybody to, like, work harder this Wednesday. Like, it doesn't, that's long gone, right? Mm-hmm. It's gotten a lot more complicated than that.
How does one reboot Joanna Dark for the modern age?
Very carefully. No, really, like, very carefully, right? I mean, those things, they don't always age well, right? And I think what's super cool about Perfect Dark, what's super cool about Joanna Dark is the super agent fantasy, the spy, the sort of Born Identity, James Bond kind of thing there. That's a cool meme. It's something people want to lean into. But again, we've got to make sure that comes forward in the right way. So I'm going to stick to very carefully.
You did good.
Xbox has focused the next 12 months for game showcases, which leaves out some of the most anticipated games that are coming from their studios. Rumors that Playground Games were having difficulties with Fable were put to rest when Matt Booty was asked point blank how Fable is doing.
So how's Fable coming along?
Fable. So one of those things I talked about is part of my job is giving air cover to the team, right? So they don't want to show stuff early before it's ready to go. But if there is one game where that is kind of flipped around, where every time I see something and I say, we should show this, it's Fable, because there's a lot of cool stuff. The team has made it very clear that I'm not going to be able to show anything until it's ready. But Playground, just what I'll say is that the craft and dedication that they brought to Forza Horizon, every bit of that is going to be applied to Fable, and they get it. Like they get, there is some, like let's be honest, giving Fable to the racing team could be a little bit of a head scratcher, right?
Was, yeah.
But they have proven that they get it, and I'm excited for when the time comes to be able to show more.
A few surprises came out of Gamescom 2022 and PAX, with the shocking surprise hit Lies of P, a mature Soulsborne game based on Pinocchio becoming a real boy trapped in an industrial era London amidst an overrun city of wind-up demonic enemies. Lies of P stole the show, even winning the PlayStation's Most Wanted award, and was announced to release day and date on Xbox Game Pass this holiday. At the PAX show, Lies of P was one of the crowd favorites, and having hands-on with the game, it feels every bit the Souls game that you wanted, with incredible visuals that stand way above Elden Ring, and incredible great feel behind the weapons, the parry, and that challenging, brutal difficulty you expect from a Soulsborne type game. Lies of P is fantastic. One major point of contention has been the massive acquisition of Bethesda's ZeniMax in 2021, and with it, many of the games made exclusively for PlayStation under those prior contracts. But right now, we are approaching the 1-year mark of Deathloop's supposed September 14th, at least by date noted, exclusivity year for PlayStation. Just before that exclusivity window was to close, PlayStation announced that Deathloop is coming to their premium and extra subscription service, which is where fans for Xbox expected Deathloop to show up on Game Pass. Fans are now worried that Deathloop is no longer a 1-year exclusive deal for PlayStation, but possibly even longer. But sources are now saying that Deathloop is suffering from market legalese, where Xbox is literally not allowed to discuss, plan, or share where or when Deathloop is landing on Xbox. Those sources say that Deathloop is in fact ready to launch on Xbox on the very week that PlayStation paid and secured for it to land on their extra and premium service. And to sweeten the deal, Deathloop on Xbox Series S and X will be the first console game to benefit from Fidelity's Super Resolution 2.0 from AMD, meaning the game will run at a super high resolution looking native 4K on Series X or higher, and 1440p on Series S while running at 60 FPS in their presentation. We could see Deathloop as early as September 15th. Speaking to developers at PAX West, and many are excited about launching on the Xbox platform, and even more so, launching on Game Pass to millions of installed users. Xbox had a strong presence at the event and has been out front with Xbox controllers at every station, Xbox logos at the event marquees, and out front of summer events this year, showcasing their flexible access to millions of players. Smaller veteran studios like Thunderful have been creating new and imaginative games that are currently launching exclusively to Xbox consoles, thanks in part to ID at Xbox, and as developers explain that Xbox is a much easier platform to launch on, alongside Steam and Epic on PC. One game I tested was Nostalgia, a Souls-like game set in a 16-bit universe that is slowly degrading down to less than 8 bits, with your character even being made up of singular pixels in an 8-bit body. Benedict Fox is another surprise hit coming to Xbox exclusively and to Game Pass, which looks like Ori in its color and art style, but has a detective noir mixed feel with ethereal mystery and fantastic creatures. One more game that is only set for PC that I played at PAX, but could end up coming to Xbox first, is the isometric twin-stick western shooter Dust and Neon, with an excellent manual reloading mechanic while dodge and rolling to keep robotic enemies at arms or firearms length. Dust and Neon is made up by one singular designer and drew many people to their booth with its washover of colors and the close-up animated reloading gun in the corner of the screen. Keep an eye out for Dust and Neon. One more surprise that woke up fans this week was Atomic Heart coming to Game Pass, and not only that, making the 2022 release year amidst the difficulties they've been experiencing in Eastern Europe. Fans worried that Xbox didn't have content available this year with major delays are seeing a packed holiday thanks to Game Pass, with Plague's Tale Requiem coming this October and Atomic Heart this December. As far as concern over how many AAA or large mainstream games are coming to Xbox, the presentation of Atomic Heart proves right now that the size of your studio has no bearing on how impressive a game can look and feel. Looking at Atomic Heart in this gameplay trailer, and we are seeing for the first time a brand new IP on the new consoles with a major visual impact, showing us more detail and graphical punching power than most AAA popular studios have been cranking out this past couple of years. Look at the metallic tendril particle effects and detailed scratches, the alpha smoke and water effects, and what looks like a modern-day BioShock meets Dead Island. Steam and Cyberpunk all in a first-person game. A game like Atomic Heart launching day and date on Game Pass while impressing millions in its showing, and you can see why many Xbox fans treat these games on Xbox Game Pass like they are exclusive, and they're getting them for nearly free in such an affordable service. This shows the power of Xbox Game Pass and how positively disruptive it is for the industry, and how PlayStation has been following suit, and this major competition is propelling the industry into a place of value and quality that will benefit developers and consumers alike. Events like PAX West are slowly making a return to normalcy, and publishers and developers will start to make more of a presence at these events with their large booths and showcases of big upcoming games. It is a slow burn into the end of 2022 as Xbox has been drip feeding some game release information because developers are still adjusting to announcing release dates really close to a game's completion. Still unknown whether Xbox will host an XO22 this year, but they would have announced it by now. And they will guarantee to be at the Game Awards this December with at least 2 major announcements or reveals. But Xbox has big plans for 2023, as their 2022 plans were sidelined, but they have bolstered them up with some great releases to Xbox Game Pass, and as well as some new indie games that are coming to the platform. Counting all the great multi-plats that are coming at the end of the year, along with all the exceptional Game Pass deals that are coming at launch, and you can see that Xbox, even with just a few months left, is still not done with 2022. This is Colt Eastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Like I said, I just got back from PAX, but looking at what Matt Booty said at the panel and where Xbox is sitting and all these developers that are really excited to come to Xbox and bring their games there where before they had missed the platform. It just shows how powerful the new generation has been. The Xbox consoles are completely popular. New Game Pass platform has given them a place to bring the games, and we're benefiting from that. Even big games like Atomic Heart, and I'm learning that it's not really about the platform, it's these developers, no matter the size, that are making incredible games, some even bigger than better than studios 10 times their size. If you ended up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. And if you want to further support the work that we do here on the Colt Eastwood channel, you can join the Patreon or hit the join button below. That gets you into the channel membership and gets you into the X&C Gaming Club on Xbox, weekly early access videos, and monthly merch giveaways for shirts that I design for channels and fans of gaming and Xbox. Also, we have the Ecstasy podcast that runs on Monday nights with my co-host Gaz, and that's at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And that show will talk more in depth about what happened at PAX and some of the inside information and discussions that I had with developers and people who have worked with the teams. But I want to know what you think about what Xbox has set up for 2022. I've been very frustrated with their inability to make up for big games, like 3 major AAA games that should have released this year. But then I saw what they're doing with the games that are coming to Game Pass, and I have to ask, is it enough? Are we going to be so overloaded in 2023 no matter what platform you're on? Let me know in the comment section. That place is going to be a dicey, crazy, and messy place. So while you're there, please remember, be nice.